Chapter 3, Faith Must Be Rational. Material Aspiration Replaced by Spiritual. There is an interesting section in the translated communication titled The Life of Jesus. It was reportedly a series of messages from the Spirit Jesus to a medium in France in the 19th century. The medium was only known as Medium X. The book was translated into Italian, then Spanish, and next into English. It was not completed until a second medium took up the work in the 20th century. While I don't know for certain if this work is really the communication of spirit messages from Jesus, the resulting prose does present intriguing concepts. It presents the idea that we need to cast aside all embedded beliefs, the stories and cultural heritage of our youth, and look again. In Chapter 12, this notion is introduced. The soul's freedom is acquired by the spirit's intellectual power. By intellectual abilities, I do not imply the more or less prominent aptitudes for the study of the sciences, but the positive momentum of the idea to the solution of this or that problem, placed in the field of the infinite. I care to determine the intellectual power of the spirit, feeding it with a burning desire to discover the origins and giving it the stamp of an unalterable will to advance constantly and even more, rejecting a belief that relies only on old prejudices and erroneous references to embrace a truly radiant faith in the midst of a heaven with a fascinating and infinite light is a fact that cannot happen but with the collapse of all worldly aspirations, with the spirit's absorption of the material principle effected by the spiritual principle of the same spirit. It is then that the bonds of the soul break apart, and now in the possession of its own freedom, it follows the spirit that is in possession of its own power. The pursuit of knowledge must be the driving force of our life, not just the accumulation of facts and figures, but in problem solving. We need to fill our toolbox with heuristics, every type of problem-solving discovery, our learning technique we can grasp. For as we ascend in the spirit world, we will be called upon to utilize each and every one of them. This will not be easy, and it's not intended to be. If it was, we wouldn't hold on to our knowledge, our victory. It would be forgotten like an old discarded toy. We must feed our intellectual curiosity and feel the excitement as we discover one more salient fact about how the universe actually operates. We can only achieve this state if our focus is on accumulating spiritual knowledge instead of accumulating material goods. As long as our efforts are concentrated on the daily grind of making money and desiring to buy more goods, we won't have the stamina to explore spiritual phenomena. We have to balance the needs of our everyday life and devote more time to our inner selves. It will not be easy or as simple as one prayer, but will require real effort. We won't be given immediate enlightenment. It is our responsibility to build our base of knowledge. The way won't be stress-free. God does not reveal himself to the soul. Although loving, it is the slave of a spirit that operates by request only, and not by its own science and consciousness. God then did not reveal himself but only halfway to the pious woman, but ignorant of the hardships that lead to the joys of faith, that faith without contradictions and without terrors, that looms over all dangers and smiles in the middle of torture, that receives the light from God to fulfill all duties, devour all humiliations, not shy away from all heroisms. We are being told that we must strive to learn about God and his creation, in the face of unrelenting pressure to deny all rational conclusions that our intellectual pursuits lead us to. Only by being certain, by logically following where evidence leads, can we stand our ground against those who would turn us away from true faith. We achieve this by not believing without doubt whatever we are told, but by analyzing and cementing the truth in our minds by the weight of evidence we have discovered. This is the type of faith that Spiritism and the spirit realm wishes us to cultivate. While I realize it is difficult to fly in the face of an entire world culture dedicated to commercialism, relative morality, and utter faith in current scientific hypothesis, the uncovered facts are out there, waiting for the truly open and inquisitive mind to parse. If you are interested in learning more about Spiritism, please read my book, Spiritism, Everything is Connected. Spiritism ties everything together. It reveals our purpose, our beginnings, our end goal, and the scope of the organization behind it all. Spiritism tells us there are no miracles, only phenomena that we don't yet understand. That miraculous healing, vision of spirits, near-death experiences, and glimpses of the future are all entirely possible given our place in the spirit realm. The spirit realm is dedicated to bring vital messages to us, not via organized religion, which had the tendency to withhold knowledge for their own gain, but to each individual so he or she could determine what path in life they would follow. We must each determine for ourselves whether we continue on to be mere consumers or to learn to balance our spiritual and material needs, so someday we may ascend up and out of the sphere of continual incarnations in a harsh learning environment to become a pure spirit and a contributor to the spirit universe. God bless.